No, come on down.
Hi, Carl. Hi, Julianne.
Hello. We're gonna start in a minute as soon as everybody comes in. Then we're gonna kick you out so we can get organized. Then we'll bring you back in.
You got it.
In, out, in, out. Hey, Speed Racer.
Oh, perfect timing. I'll leave now.
I'm only sitting over here because Steve and Richard are gone, so.
Space us out a little.
Yeah,
Don't
space
leave
us
Carl
out.
all alone.
Exactly.
4:31.
At 4:31, I call the Tamworth Select Board meeting to order on April 8th. And I make a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91-A:3 to B.
Second.
Roll call vote. Very yes.
Prentice, yes.
Robert, yes?
We are now in non-public at 4:31. 42, whatever.
Okay, that's all good. Oh, and I just said, I said, I don't care if I got a plan for square bills like
No,
that. I'm
I,
just gonna wrap my head around it differently.
No, we have round bills. I might get another load because I have somebody else that wants a few too, so.
Okay. Well, at this rate, I'm probably good for another 20.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just-
there's no grass out of my.
I know, this spring was close to being early. And it's
Not
not.
close enough.
No.
Correct.
Is the owl plugged in?
Is almost
Close.
getting there.
Yeah. Not
That's
immediately,
Jeremy. Oh.
but we should connect just about swim lessons at some
Okay.
point because I keep forgetting to connect.
Yeah, any, well, not any time.
In a couple weeks,
Sure, yeah. Yeah,
because then I should.
let me know a couple times that work for you and we'll figure something out.
Okay. I probably have 75 kids signed up so far.
For swim?
Well, no, for
overall for
for
camp?
camp, so I gotta see what, I haven't even looked to see what they've signed up for,
Yeah.
to know how many.
It's 5:01.
You ready?
So, I
5:01.
just want to say it to your face before I forget.
Cool.
I make a motion to come out of non-public at 5:01.
Second.
Have a second.
Second.
Roll call vote. Barry, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Robert, yes?
We are now out of non-public at 5:01 and the minutes are not sealed. Okay, why am I looking at that page?
So confusing. That's it. Oh, no.
That's the one. Agenda changes and additions, we have some additions to the signature file, which I have in front of me, so that's the only change I'm aware of. Do we have any public input before we get into the weeds?
Hi there, this is Maureen Diamond.
Hi, Maureen.
Hi. I just had two issues I wanted to comment on. First of all, I wanted to thank Nancy Sheridan and you folks for accepting the topic of the resolution to object to the freeze of federal grants. Thank Nancy for bringing it up and thank you guys for discussing it tonight. It will be interesting, if nothing less. And then the second issue I wanted to comment on was something I read in the minutes of March 18th in the second public comment. A citizen made a comment about wanting to reduce the speed limit on Page Hill Road. And I just want to, and her reason for that was because increase the speed limit to 35 miles per hour. Her reasoning was that she gets passed when she obeys the 25 mile an hour limit. And I can report that I was passed when the speed limit was 35 miles an hour. So whether or not other vehicles pass you unsafely, disregarding speed limits is not a function of the speed limit itself. And also just to go on record to remind the public that there was a road study committee that did due diligence and recommended the 25 mile an hour limit. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Maureen. All right, new business, department head update with our recreation director, Jeremy Phillips.
How's it going?
Good, how are you
Good.
doing?
Good to see you all for the first time. Things are off and running. So that was no one laughed at. I worked on that.
Track season?
Yeah, track season. So anyway, yeah, thanks for having me in today, and it's hard to believe it's only been, I don't know, only been 3 months? Or already been 3 months? One of the two. But, you know, settling in, I'll run through stuff that I have, but feel free to stop me at any time
Okay.
if you have questions about it, but there's been quite a bit. So, you know, there was a whole bunch of office setup stuff, which went fine. It took some time to figure out a lot of the different things, the app and what the Facebook password was, and just all of those kind of little nitty-gritty details. So we got going on that. That was nice. Basketball and pickleball have been running. When I first got in, Emily set up basketball, and that was just kind of, I came in sort of in the middle of it. But I think we had a pretty decent season. Not a lot of games, but ended up only with 2 games. 2 of them got canceled, so we did have 4 on the schedule. But I do remember, you know, playing against Ossipee, and they took the lead. Boys took the lead in the last couple minutes, and you know, I looked at the person next to me. I'm like, "Oh, they took the lead," and he's like, "Yeah, in the last 4 years." So first time. So I think they had a good season. They won a couple games. Boys played in the tournament up in Conway, which went well. And, you know, big thanks to Pat Shea and Steve Abadi and Jason Bergen, the coaches. They're just really trustworthy, and they're there, and just solid coaches. So it's fun to have them, and good to come in with their presence, being new to the position. So I thought it was a successful season. We just recently had the celebration for them, and the kids were pretty proud when they got their medals. But we had pizza and played some basketball in the gym. Pickleball's just been rolling. There's, you know, they're a fun group to get to know. I've been going to pickleball quite a bit, and I think that has, you know, endeared me to the group a little bit. They're super friendly, good volunteers that lead that program as well, and then I think me being there helps a little bit too. Just because there's not a perfect way to run a pickleball evening with the rotation of how it all goes. So there's always somebody that's like, "Hey, we should do it this way." Well, if you don't do it that way, then you know, it's just a little nitpicky. But I think it's helpful when I'm there, because then they can complain to me and not to a volunteer, which is great. Yeah, coming up with the new schedule during that first month and a half, coming up with the preceding schedule has been fun. So getting some of my programming in. Couple things I did throw in there during February, January, Quincy Hub building, which did not go. It was during the really windy period that we had. Cross-country ski for families over at the rec, which had 7 people, 2 families came. That was a lot of fun. And now, currently, we're running Lego Legends over at the Cook Memorial Library every Wednesday, open gym on Saturdays with adult and like middle school and up age basketball, and then little kids on the other side of the gym doing some different activities. There's some new pickleball times to kind of better coordinate my time on Saturdays, so I can also run a beginner session, because that was one of the things. You'd have beginners coming into the intermediate and advanced group, and it's good to have a beginner session that's separate. And yeah, there's board games over at the Chicago Library. Walks with Rec start Friday. The egg hunt's coming up in a couple of weeks. Memorial Day celebration planning is happening. And spring sports are off and running. That was a better place for that joke, wasn't it? Yeah, spring sports are kind of up and going. So track starting, and baseball, soccer, and t-ball are all starting in the near future.
How's it been trying to coordinate with the school to get school space for programs? You're on camera, but you can be honest, because we can work with that if you need support.
Yeah. Crystal, Robin, the people that work up front, admin office there, they're great to work with. Roy Roberts, he's awesome. He's a head janitor there. Kitty Green, the athletic director, is great. So there's a lot of good people that are trying to, work kind of in the same direction that I'm going. So they're all really, really nice to work with. Getting the space, I don't think is an issue. There's been, one issue has been with 4th of July and the need for electrical outlets. We're down to 2 because we're not going to be given access, as has been done in the past, to the main part of the school. So that is a problem that will have to be solved.
And why is that? What was the reasoning behind not giving us access?
Well, the access came from out a window
Yeah,
for electric,
yeah.
and they don't want us to. I'm not sure. I'm not
Just 'cause
sure.
it's insecure?
I'm not sure if it's the window or if it's the access to the school that is the issue.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm in favor of you bringing that up in your monthly conversation to find out if there had been a problem in the past. I'm speaking of Carl now, not you, Jeremy. That's precipitating this, because I think that the goodwill right now should be that that school building is a asset to all of us, and we should figure out ways to interact symbiotically whenever possible. And if
Yeah, we had an issue back when Emory was just getting done with rec, or not quite getting done. A little headbutting with the principal about when we could use the gym, and her feeling was, well, it's a Brett School gym, we're gonna use it when we need it, and, you can get it when we're not using it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there was a little bit of,
Yeah.
animosity there, but.
I mean, with this particular thing, if there's another solution, all about it. If there's
yeah, I just
other-
think
other
that if
things,
there's a
but-
solution, that's great.
Yeah.
If there's a workaround,
Yeah.
that's great. It doesn't have to be out the same window that it's been out for 20 years. But diminishing access for one time in the whole year when the whole town actually wants to use that facility rather
Yeah.
than voting, I think that it's important that there's a workaround. And if you need support in finding that workaround, then you can come to us and we can help with that if it has to go up
Sure.
a food chain.
And the other thing is I try to set my programs up, this year I tried to set my programs up where, especially Saturdays I'm just over at the gym because it's open gym and then it's beginner pickleball and then it's advanced pickleball, and on Saturdays they really wanted me to be there because there's not the janitors there.
Right.
So I'm doing that, and I set it up with the thought that I would have access to raise and lower the basketball hoops as well as the curtain in the middle. Curtain in the middle, not a problem. Little key I'm able to have access to, but the access to that office, I guess it's an office, the gym teacher's office, isn't there, so I don't have the tool to raise and lower the basketball hoops.
And they can't leave it out?
When I was the rec director, I had a key to that office because it's where you get the control to like bring the bleachers out, and
Bleachers out, the scoreboard as well. So in order to try to make it easier for them by me being able to do these things and not
Right.
having them do it the day before, or just all of that kind of communication, and I thought I was making it easy for them, but yeah, if you can't have access to it, then you don't have ability to control those various things.
Yeah.
I think you need to.
And the reason for that is that there's paperwork back there that should be accessed by the public. And
Understood, then secure the paperwork, or, it's a town asset, and the town pays a lot of money for that asset and doesn't get the benefit of using it. And it's one way for taxpayers to access something.
Yeah, and I'm fine even
Yeah.
purchasing the tool to raise and lower the basketball hoops or whatever, but there are other things behind that door that I cannot
Yeah,
get to.
and if it's been the history that the rec directors had access and there hasn't been an issue, like if something were stolen or broken or defamed, or you're selling, kids' secrets on YouTube,
Yeah, I get that.
but if you haven't, then it seems odd to
I
switch
mean,
the.
if paperwork was an issue, I mean, I feel like a small filing cabinet locked would be a pretty easily
Yeah,
solution.
Yeah.
it seems like.
And I'm not
Yeah.
positive, but I think it is locked behind,
Yeah.
in the filing cabinet behind the door.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
And I will say, they probably got mad with me because I was so busy that it wasn't uncommon for me to be like, oh, my pickleball coordinator, you're in charge tonight, here's the key.
Oh.
But I also thought that was kind of understood, when you're a one-man department, you put people, you're not at everything at all times, you just can't be. So, I mean, when I was the rec director, I thought it was understood, like, no, this is my assigned volunteer, they have access to the key.
But even if they didn't like that, then they say, you know what, it has to be a town employee who has control of this, we can't let, you can say
Right.
that.
And those were the conversations that were happening with
Yeah.
me on my way out, and now I feel like Jeremy has kind of
Yeah.
inherited this,
Yeah, so let's
yeah,
tweak that for you.
sometime.
Yeah, and any way that I can gain the trust too of
Yeah.
them, I'm fine. Obviously, I don't wanna break any rules, I don't wanna have access to anything I'm not supposed to have access to. But I'd love to be able to do those certain things that I just mentioned previously, so.
Yeah,
great.
makes sense.
Anything else on that? Otherwise I have that was half my list, so.
That's all.
But again, stop me anytime. So just working with other organizations too in coordinating things that are happening, so Mondays are the days that no sports are happening. So Tuesday through Saturday in the spring, there's sports. Mondays is tennis, which is also a sport, but not rec, although, we work closely with them. So Advantage Tennis is happening Mondays. I met with the TOC, went to their meeting. They have baseball money, they have money for other things. So they're a great group to go to communicate with for sure. Tamworth Conservation Commission, the Bear Camp Center, Cook Memorial Library I mentioned, Chicago Library, Brett School's been mostly been awesome, other than what we just talked about. And future programming maybe at Union Hall, the other bakery, I kind of mentioned it too, so just kind of trying to spread out some of the programming in various locations too, which I think is fun. I don't think much happens in South Tamworth through the rec lately, so I think that would be fun to run some card games or
Yeah,
something like that with the group that they get at Union Hall. It's a neat space over there. It was the first time I'd been there, met with Mel. Summer programming is, being planned. 4th of July has been something that's on my schedule every week. Really, I've been working on it. And most of the big things are taken care of for 4th of July. I think just porta potties are the last big item, at least big in my head.
and they'll be the last to go. Wasn't it like 3 months or something they
Oh,
sat
yeah,
there
I
and
remember.
looked last?
I remember that.
Toilet
Yeah.
down here by the townhouse.
Yeah.
Last year they delivered the wrong one, and
Oh.
John and I put it in the back of this truck and hauled it down.
Really?
So, that's fun.
Friday trips are happening, mostly scheduled. Squam Science Center, Lost River, Seco Science Center, do some tide pooling there.
Nice.
We call it Shepherd Discovery Center. Storyland and Polar Caves are what I have. I'll say that that's tentative for anyone listening, just in case, but that's what's on the docket. Swim at Bear Camp, through the Bear Camp Center, and at White Lake. I did look into moving it to Bear Camp Center. I've been, heard the conversations about potentially doing it there. I talked to Ole at Sam's Rec, and he said, maybe not this year, to bring that up to their select board. And
You mean
try
doing
that.
evening ones there?
Yeah, doing the evening ones there, right. All good with the summer.
The daytime, the
daytime
morning
ones,
really works
yeah.
for them, yeah.
But, understandable too to have like the whole day at Bear Camp taken up by Tamworth swim lessons. And I know some of that has sandwich kids in there too, but not all of it.
So you pick up at Bear Camp Center. Is there another pickup spot for Tamworth kids
For
aren't-
White Lake?
who aren't at camp?
In the mornings? Me?
Is that just the Bear Camp?
I don't wanna speak for you, but I think it's just the Bear Camp.
Okay.
We,
They
So
fill
then
the,
it's
they
the
fill the
after-
slots,
It's
yeah.
the afternoon one.
yeah,
That will be for non-camp kids, yep, exactly.
And have you worked it out for parking? I mean, do parents drive over there and drop their kids?
That's what will happen, yeah.
For
Yeah.
White Lake.
For White Lake.
Lake, yeah.
Yes, correct.
So-
We
Sorry.
do-
Oh, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. We do have vans, if that's something that
Well, that's true.
I could inquire about, and
Well, I thought there was an issue with the state park and parents parking.
Charging.
I mean, we always got charged, which was kind of the
Yeah.
downside of doing it at White Lake. They also have stricter requirements as far as your instructors being
Right,
certified. Do they check on any of those? No, but they require it.
Yeah.
But, you know, the idea of being able to accommodate more kids outside of the Bear Camp Center at Bear Camp Pond in the morning is an option if, you know, you had, the thing is, it's all comes down to instructors. Like, if you have enough instructors,
yeah, because the ratio needs to be pretty low when you're dealing with water and
Right, yeah.
kids that can't swim, you know, that's why they're there. So, yeah, it's,
right,
you got the right ratio.
yeah. So,
So right now we have 2 instructors, and one is on the fence, and I think we'd easily be able to get a third, so,
Mhm.
if that person didn't do it. Which are the same 3 from last year.
Oh, good. But one of them was retiring.
Okay.
That's good.
Not this year.
Perfect.
Yeah, gross. So I did reach out to Gregory Preville. He's the contact for White Lake, and I actually haven't read his email yet, but he did respond, and I was just upfront and frank and said, hey, you know, our town would appreciate if we could have some reduced rate. So I don't know what his answer was yet, but I think it's probably not so much. I think it's gonna be
Were they paying taxes?
who, White Lake?
White Lake?
Nothing, they're a state park.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I tried to
Again,
explain that.
What a bad deal. Who gave the park away?
You know, to be fair, they maintain the beach, they maintain the facilities. There is cost to that. I wouldn't ask to pay nothing, that's for sure.
Yeah, if it's cost prohibitive for any, I mean, did you get a sense that it was cost prohibitive
We cover it.
for the
The rec
parking?
covers it
Okay.
for parking.
Yeah.
But it's still an expense to the town, so.
I mean, because you could meet, but the parents want to go probably and see the lessons.
That's the hard part, is when it's only a 30-minute lesson, it's really hard to get the parents to like
Yeah.
drop off and then take off
No,
and
that
come
makes
back.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, it's great. Another year of swim lessons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a big one.
it's happening. And wait, we got the grant, $5,000 grant.
Yeah.
Which we're going to accept tonight.
Yes. Oh yeah, you already knew about it. Dang it. This.
Written on our
No,
agenda.
it was great to get that though. I really appreciate from the Tamworth Foundation.
Yeah.
So it's a
That's a nice tradition to
pick back up and
reinvigorate.
get
Yeah.
going, yeah.
Jeremy, when are you posting summer programming signups?
Within a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say 10 days, but 2
Yeah.
weeks is. Yeah, I want to. I have had a couple of interviews for staff for summer, but they've been trickling in. So I'm hoping to get a couple more before you know. I'm hoping in the next couple weeks I get a couple more interviews going. I feel more comfortable about releasing the signups, you know. So yeah, but that'll be happening. Cool. So vans, right? We'll have those on top of TSAP, on top of Friday field trips. Looking to do middle school trips. Working with Heather over in Freedom. She had an idea. She approached me to do Freedom Madison. She's from Madison, and us all working together to get middle schoolers out doing some trips. And you know, they're the kids that are going to be going to high school next year and seeing each other. So I thought that was kind of a neat idea.
And they're also the kids not often going to camp or they're sitting home by themselves. because they're
Yeah,
old enough
right.
to, but not quite. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
So it's great to have them doing something.
Yeah, so I'm meeting with her next week and discuss
Nice.
some options for that. And adult trips. As long as I have drivers for both of these things, as long as I have drivers, I'm hoping to do a boat cruise on Squam Lake and go to the casino for adults.
Yep, cool.
Yeah. That's what I have on the docket. So, fall is not really in my view right now. I mean, I know soccer will happen then, but otherwise I don't have anything for fall in my sight. As far as I've gone.
Yeah.
But I do have all their future things that I'd love to share eventually. I don't want to get into details, but I would love to utilize the rec field a lot more, especially in the winter. Every time I went there this past winter, it was pristine snow, not a track in it, right? And I'm just like, man, it's just this space that could be utilized. So I'm trying to think of some ideas to how to utilize that. Those couple programs that I mentioned earlier can be ways, but I'd love to do something there that doesn't take me always being there. Whether it's like these are ideas, I have no idea, but like whether it's cross-country skiing, whether it's an ice skating rink, which I know has been there in the past, where people can go and just do it, and I could run a program doing those things as well. I'd love to do something like that, if not one of those two things. For winter, and then maybe summer ideas with that in mind, with usage of the area as well as people being able to go there themselves and do the thing that's there.
We'll see, I don't know the last time that, I know I didn't do it when I was the rec director,
Yeah,
but
things been around.
met with the CIP committee to discuss kind of like long-term planning. If there's any larger projects at the rec field that you foresee needing to happen, whether it's replacing bleachers or the scoreboard that hasn't worked in years.
Rick might actually take that down.
Or a swimming pool.
A swimming pool would be great, but even just like new grass, I don't know what kind of, the grass always has really struggled down there, and, but, anyway, that would be something to consider.
Yeah, there's definitely ants.
They meet they're terrible, the grubs are terrible. They meet at the end of April, I'm going to the CIP meeting, so
This end of April.
Yeah, they meet monthly.
They meet monthly, okay.
I mean, you don't have to go to the meeting, but if you had something, it's like a 6-year vision,
Mm-hmm.
$5,000 or more. So if there's something that you want to help the town plan for in your budget that's going to be over $5,000, you give it to the CIP because they put it in a separate spreadsheet. So we're seeing like these big ticket kind of one-shot items.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to put in disc golf and it's going to cost $11,000, like.
Have you been in my office? I have a board of ideas.
Oh, is it on there? Yeah. So if you something like that you want to plan for, and you want to ask the town for $1,500 of it, and you're going to get 10,000 and whatever. Right. I know not 1,500 because that wouldn't be CIP, but 5,000 of it. So any of those things on your list, talk to Emily. She can help you. Plug it into CIP.
Cool. Yeah, there's lots of ideas.
Good.
Great.
That's really what I have, I think, for the most part. Carl, are you? I know you're taking this role, right? And
Oh, yeah.
Are you still my liaison as well?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
I mean, I never spoke to Emily when I was liaison.
That's liaison.
But you can
Yeah.
call me anytime.
Well, I'd love to
Yeah.
schedule something out just to, some of this stuff to run by somebody, especially before I bring it to the whole.
Yeah, yeah.
Might be
And
useful.
I got some ideas on the winter idea too.
Oh, good, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, let's give him some money.
Oh, yeah. Is that
yeah.
next?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. I make a motion that we accept unanticipated funds in the amount of $5,000 from the Tamworth Foundation for the Tamworth Recreational Swim Program.
Second.
Roll call vote. Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes?
Roberts, yes.
The motion Passes.
Congrats.
Sweet.
There you go.
That will go to good use.
Yeah, that's, everybody likes a swim program.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that from,
Especially since we didn't have it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, yeah, when I was on the committee, that was something that had to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody should like sheep, and then maybe next to the rec field, we could have a little town flock in the capped landfill. The grass is lush.
Can that be used?
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna ask that question.
Used, was that a pun? That was
They just need a shepherdess.
good. Or,
But can it be used? Can that area be utilized for?
I don't know.
can
I don't
you
know
go
what
on
the
top of
rules
it? I know
are
it's
on it.
fenced off.
I don't know either.
I think
Yeah.
sheep could be on, we pay somebody to hay it or mow it.
Oh, really? Because if there was cross-country skiing over there, then that's a big area.
That's something to look into.
Yeah. So, all right, anything else from me?
No,
No,
thanks.
thank you.
Yeah, it's been fun getting to know everybody and being around town and driving a lot less.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, we are glad you're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. Stop
Okay.
in the office anytime.
Thanks.
Thanks,
I will.
Jeremy.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna lose this.
All right, now we are on to the resolution to object the freeze of federal grants. Nancy Sheridan.
We have questions, Nancy.
All right.
Are the grants still frozen, or should that language be changed to cut, anticipating future cuts?
That's a really good question, Leanne. I don't have the answer for that, if they're still frozen. So would it make sense? I don't know.
Because it changes week to week.
Yeah, it does. Could we do a slash, like objecting to the freezing of or proposed cuts to? Could we do it both and?
Well, the main objection was to the grants that had already been awarded.
Right,
That were locked up.
Yeah.
yeah. And the other main objective is to say to our elected representatives, here we are, we're concerned about this, we want to let you know we're concerned about this, can we work together? And to make them aware, just to use our voice. Yeah, and what I remember, my cover letter that I don't think you guys ever got was, if the current administration does indeed freeze the grants that have been approved, then this resolution. So I think it would work to do, objecting to the freezing of grants. I think that would work. But you're the select board and I don't do this language much in my line of work, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, resolutions are tokens unless they're amplified, right? And so I'm looking at, so let's say we say, okay, freeze or cut. Let's say we work out that language. Then there's the kind of forwarding language, like be it further moved, the select board shall seek additional support from mayors of New Hampshire cities, and then we're going to forward it on to all of our elected officials, and then we're going to call on our more elected officials. And I'm not really sure what the mechanism is for doing all that dissemination.
I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I would be happy to take that on.
Okay,
as like a liaison and, you know, say, I came to this board and this is how they voted, I would be happy to do that. I don't
Okay.
want to add anything to your plates.
Yeah, that was a concern.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't wanna, I don't have any, I don't personally have a problem with the resolution if we are clarifying that we're not just talking about freezing that might not be frozen. But I don't want to go on the record committing to disseminate something that I'm not gonna disseminate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have bandwidth to add on to,
Right.
but if you're saying that you would take that on, and
More
that's,
than happy
and that's
to do
part of the, and that's part of the agreement, then
Yes.
that clarifies that point for me.
All right.
Thank you. So,
No, we
let
don't.
me just look at the language.
Okay.
And we don't have a full board tonight, unfortunately, but we could probably deal with that. I mean, we've got a quorum, but it's nice when we make these decisions to have everybody.
Yeah.
Sign it.
That was the other thing that I noticed, Nancy, is there was no signature. Is there an official document that the select board would be signing, or?
I could create that. I could retype this and add, it would be 5, right? 5 signatures.
Yeah, and it usually has, you know,
Okay.
a line, Carl Bear Chair,
Yeah.
whoever else that you said.
I would be happy to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
And I do think other people who did this in their towns also facilitated the process, like Lebanon and Hanover, I think it was. The two that I've been in touch with, you know, they just came, they presented it, and they moved it on. And they had not gotten back to me still yet with all the towns that have done it. So I said I would follow up on that, and I did. I just don't have the answers to that at this time.
So I'm just looking to see where it says freeze. Okay, it looks like first paragraph and the third paragraph would need to add proposed cuts.
Okay. Sort of a pen I could borrow.
Yeah.
I flew out of here from a meeting and didn't grab something to write away thanks. So add proposed cuts to the first and
To
third.
the freezing part.
Okay,
And maybe just check to see if the freezing is even still a thing.
okay,
And I would assume that if we authorize this resolution, that if freezing is not a thing, and if the original things that we looked at have no longer been frozen, then take that out and just leave the proposed cuts language.
Right, although we don't know what might happen. As far as,
For, you mean future freezing?
yeah,
yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So that way I could
Doesn't
do, I
matter.
could type in the and/or,
Mhm.
if that is agreeable to you.
Okay, questions have been answered.
yeah, I think,
Okay. I will type this up. I'll get this to, now, should I bring this to the town hall tomorrow for you to all sign?
Or where
what's-
Richard and Steve are.
Yeah,
Well, we still have to make a motion and
Okay.
vote on it.
right, which you can do with your quorum, and
Yep.
then I could have it at the office for when you're in, you can just come in
Okay.
and sign it.
Okay.
Right.
And that would give Steve and Richard a chance to sign it too if they wish.
Okay.
Richard did say he was, he supports,
Spoke in favor of it?
yeah,
Okay. I don't think Steve made any comments.
no, I didn't see anything from Steve. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the Tamworth resolution to object to the freezing and/or cuts of federal grant funding.
Second.
Discussion.
I just want to express that I am not going to support this, but I am in favor of most of the freezing and cuts that the federal government is making.
Okay. Roll call vote. Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, no.
All right.
And I think because this is a resolution and it's not like a town document, you don't have to sign it.
No.
It's not like a,
Yeah.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, may I have a clarification?
Sure.
What specific grant program, I'm trying to find which ones are frozen. So is this the solar grant program that you're specifically talking about? And
Yeah.
what is that program called, do you remember? Is it the Solar for All program?
I can look and see.
Yeah.
Solar was one of them, the one that supported the EV chargers was the other one.
Is it a municipal solar grant program?
Yep.
So how are being mentioned?
Yeah, so it says municipal solar grant from the state of New Hampshire Department of Energy. And it's just reflected on the agenda as municipal solar grant.
See, my AI says, the municipal solar grant program is experiencing delays that could jeopardize project timelines,
Right.
effectively stalling funds until resolved. So I don't know if they're
That's-
frozen or not. And
That's
it may
how it was
not be
articulated to
Yeah,
us.
it may not.
But there's so many different EPA solar grant programs. There's the Solar for All program, and that one's the $43.51 million that came to the state from the EPA. But I just didn't know which.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
municipal. And I did see an email from our librarian saying, I think it was, not from her, but she referenced someone at the State Department of Energy saying that it's probably okay now. Let me go.
Yeah,
So-
it's making forward movement.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I don't see it called anything else on our agenda or my notes other than municipal solar grant
Yeah, well, that is one of them.
from DOE.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's part of the Solar for All grant program. It says New Hampshire received $43.51 million from the EPA Solar for All grant in April 2024, aimed at low-income and disadvantaged communities as partners with the New Hampshire DOE, New Hampshire Community Loan Fund, and New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority to expand community solar projects, not individual home installations.
Right.
The New Hampshire DOE's portion scales up from the existing LMI community solar program, with a focus on projects where 75% of the net revenues benefit low-income participants. As of January 2025, the program was still in planning, with no specific application window open yet for 2025. Funds are allocated, but not frozen. They are just not fully deployed yet.
Okay.
So that sounds like,
Well, and what was the
No.
date on that? That sounds new.
that's 2025.
February?
That's February, and then the grant program began in April 2024.
Yeah.
So this sounds like what you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's the same kind of language that the librarian team shared with us.
Yeah.
But right up until town meeting, it was still in that
Allocated,
hazy,
but not-
allocated,
yeah.
but not, like, you can't put your hands on it. We can't, and they kept saying, and we can't tell you when you'll get it. You've been awarded the money, but we can't tell you if and when you're gonna get it.
So
that's
the
why we-
resolution sounds like it's saying that the federal administration froze all these grants, and I don't know if that's specifically accurate to say that. If it says it's just not deployed yet, I don't know what that means. See, it's just language. But that's my opinion.
Well, I don't disagree with you in this case, but if we're looking more expansively about other grant funding that impacts taxpayers in town, not just that project, I think that there have been cuts and freezes. Some of them have been reversed already that do impact us. So my support of it stands because the general chaos of it is unpredictable.
Yeah,
Thank you for letting me come.
thank you. All right, we are moving on to the four-way stop discussion for the 113,
Thank you.
113A.
Thanks, Nancy.
Appreciate it.
So, as I said I would, I got a group of people together who were interested in improvements and changes to the Main Street and Tamworth Village area in general. There were business owners and property owners and just interested folks. And we just talked about what things people might like to see. And as far as Route 113, 113A intersection goes, people are interested in a four-way stop there, and also bike lanes down to the school, which really just means a 4-foot shoulder. So as far as the four-way stop goes, were you able to open that
I didn't try yet.
link I sent? That's okay. That was a presentation that Bill Lambert gave to the Traffic Study Committee.
Yeah.
And he said he'd be happy to come give a presentation to the select board. And actually he said, you know, we could even include the Page Hill Road 113 intersection too, if that were appropriate. You think that would be an appropriate four-way stop?
I think that was discussed in the past.
Yeah.
I don't know specifically, but I think that it's not a four-way stop because of like the safety coming down the hill. Like you crest the hill there,
Yeah.
and you don't have any
Right.
time to react. So that's because typically a state road always overrides a town road. Like most of the time, if it wasn't a four-way stop, the state road would be the
I
through
know.
road,
Yeah.
and the town road would be the stop.
Oh,
But
really?
that's
I think
why
it's
it's the other
due-
way.
I think it's because was it ever a stop sign there?
Yeah.
I feel like it's gone back and forth 1,000,
Well, not 1,000 times, but I think it used to.
100.
I don't. I think it's long. I mean, as long as I can remember, it's been
Yeah.
the way it is now.
Yeah.
But I believe that it had gone
Yeah.
back and forth in the past, and there had been some discussion in the past,
Yeah.
and I don't know
I
where it
know,
ended up.
I can see that point though, how, you know, coming down that hill,
Yeah.
you've got pretty good visibility from the crest,
Unless
Yes.
you're going
Yeah.
50.
unless you're going 50, but, so anyway, he just mentioned it because the state is interested in problem intersections being changed from.
That is an
Yeah.
intersection.
From a two-way to a four-way. They're doing it, looking at it all over the state.
Yeah.
But anyway, as far as this goes, they looked at it at an earlier date, and I don't even know what the date was, and it got rejected for four-way stop because of the line of sight coming east on 113, you know, coming up from
Yep.
from the police station direction. You crest that knoll, and there's somebody stopped at the stop sign. You know, I think the line of sight was a no-go on that one when they looked at it previously. But I think they're more inclined to do it now than they have been in the past. So he said one thing that they wouldn't even consider it if it didn't have town support. And so the reason I bring it up, the four-way stop up now rather than waiting until the whole plan is in place, as Leanne has suggested, is that it wouldn't take much money or time for the state to do that. If they decide it's a worthy project, they just stick the signs in the ground and, you know, a warning sign and then a stop sign and it's done. Whereas some of these other projects that we talked about are big money and would take years to
I thought part of this four-way stop in the village, though, was going to involve potentially,
Getting rid of
making
the
it,
Y.
getting rid of the Y,
Yeah.
moving the Veterans Memorial.
Well, I don't know if you'd move them. I think you just tear up the pavement and.
In the Y and just
in
turn
the
that all
Y.
into lawn.
Yeah, and put grass in there
Yeah.
between the Unitarians and the memorial. The other one's pretty much a straight shot towards Chicago.
Yeah,
And I don't think that would affect, so other ideas that this group discussed were sidewalks from like the Unitarians to the library at least, maybe all the way to the distillery. Crosswalks. And then the 4-foot shoulders on 113. But I don't think it would impact the sidewalks or
that kind of,
by doing that.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so as far as the four-way stop goes, I don't think it would be the end of the world to, if the town said, yeah, we're in favor of it, and see what the state says when they come across it again.
Is there some people that have brought up the four-way stop in Chicorwa? I hadn't heard.
No, I don't think so. I
It
think
came,
that was
it came up a lot with the last
when you were,
traffic safety group.
because
that
you
was
were
one of
over
the-
in that area, on Route 16.
That was one of the first things they talked about, was the intersection across 16
Oh,
up to
but
Deer
not-
Hill, and
Oh, yeah.
both of them, they talked about them both
Oh,
thinking, well, if you do something to one, what happens to the other? If this one's got 4 stops, so they did talk a lot about it. And, John Gotchen, who lives right there, was instrumental in those conversations. So I think that it wouldn't hurt to have Bill Lambert come.
yeah,
And if we do that, we should definitely invite John Gotchen to come.
yeah,
He's, every town in an RPC, so we're Lakes Region Planning, every town gets to have one member from your town, doesn't have to be on a board or anything, who represents on the Transportation Advisory Committee, the TAC committee, and John's been on the TAC committee for years. So if we do a
Yeah.
10-year plan through DOT or any of these kind of grants that we're looking at,
yeah.
he's on the advisory committee that works with them, so he'd be a great resource if
Well,
we
maybe
start
we should-
having these conversations.
Maybe we should have Bill Lambert come and present to the select board.
And have John come too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll invite people to that meeting.
Yeah.
Uh,
It'd be interesting,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and
The other thing
Bill's
that-
been talking about all of these for so long, he'll know.
I was
the
just curious.
history.
About what the history was, yeah.
I feel like
Well,
there's
the other
been a
thing-
solution there.
The other
Yeah.
reason that our intersections don't score well is that no one's been
No
killed.
one's dying.
No one's been killed recently. Or even accidents. I mean, in the past 10 years, there's been one minor collision at the Four Corners.
In there? Oh,
Yeah.
really? I was
There's
wondering about
been, I
that.
think there's been more than that in Chicorwa. I think there's been a few in Chicorwa at the foot of the hill.
The sight line's hard,
Yeah.
looking up the hill when you're trying to cross.
You get a lot of people that come, crest the hill pretty fast,
Oh, yeah.
and then you have to come right.
You hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We sit on the porch and watch them during the summer.
All right, well, let's see about getting Bill to come. He said he'd be happy to give a presentation
Okay.
to the board, and we'll see where that goes. Yeah, the other ideas, I mean, I'm torn about the 4-foot shoulders on 113, having spoken to Dana. I mean, you make the road wider, people are
People
just
go
gonna
faster.
drive faster. And right now, the 4-foot shoulders come to Depot Road, and then it's narrow again, and it's more residential.
Yeah.
From
I
the-
thought that bike lane conversation, I thought that was part of what Dave Bowles pushed for years.
He
He
did.
was working on that.
Well, every time there was a funding cycle, he
Yeah.
would get an application in, and he actually got approved. He got it approved, and it was on the 10-year plan with scheduled construction in 2009, and then it never, I don't know what happened.
When did he die? Did he die then?
No, it was
No.
after that.
Yeah, it was later than that he died, but I think that, it was on the 10-year plan, but then I don't think everything on the 10-year plan gets
No, I
done.
mean, that's what they were saying last night,
Yeah.
that it cycles and.
Yeah, so anyway, he actually made it that far and then it didn't happen. So, there are pluses and minuses What Sienna pictures is
Boulevard?
yeah, separate from the highway. But I said, then you're talking about eminent domain,
Well,
If you put a 4-foot shoulder, that's still in the right of way.
Yeah,
But you can do anything more and
and you're also talking about a cost
yeah,
that's prohibitive.
yeah, so, all right, that's all.
Okay.
Carl, will you be following up with them, or do you want me to reach out?
No, I'll follow up.
Okay.
Are you, this is kind of off the four-corner topic,
Yep.
but are you guys talking about parking and flow in the village too?
Yes, parking is another one.
Yeah.
And there, Glenn mentioned it last night, this group called Plan New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at their site again. I looked at it once, but I looked at it again and I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
They send a group of people for a 2-day charrette.
Yeah.
And all they actually do after 2 days of interviewing the townspeople and the boards and officials is to make recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't think we need them to make recommendations.
Yeah.
We can make our own.
Well,
Because that costs money
yeah.
to have them come do it.
It would be good when you get into those conversations to talk to Chief Littlefield and Chief Colcord and
Yeah.
Richard Roberts, because they all have very strong opinions
Yeah.
about traffic flow and
I know.
parking and safety in the village.
I was gonna wait a little bit longer before.
Yeah,
Actually,
whenever you
Richard-
get to that point.
Yeah, Richard would be the
Yeah.
first one I talked to.
Yeah.
I did find out though, I've been always a little confused about where the state road is and where town road is.
It's a bridge, right?
No, town road from the Four Corners to the townhouse. And then from the townhouse to Jimmy Damon's,
Yeah.
or, just beyond Highland House, is state.
Oh, I thought it was from the bridge to Jenny. Well, I thought it was the
No,
bridge
it's
to
from
the
the town.
base of Cleveland Hill.
Townhouse. It doesn't go to the base of Cleveland Hill, it just goes to the crest.
Weird.
Yeah, it goes to the crest of that hill by. So anyway, and the agreement is, summer maintenance, winter maintenance
yeah.
thing. But, so the main street is actually town road,
Okay, well,
anyway.
for
Okay, moving on to old business. Transfer station water line, invitation to bid or seek quotes.
I think you guys remember Richard gave an update
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah,
But this is for the
just to go from the
Can-
well
to
to the
can-
bathroom.
plumbing or the excavating?
I-
thought it was just the plumbing.
it's just the plumbing.
Yeah, because the guy that's
Yeah.
doing the
He's
job
a-
is doing the excavating.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
they discussed, yeah.
So it's
So it's hook up on
Dropping the
both-
pump into
at
the
both
well.
ends, yeah.
and running the pipe.
And he asked for some plumber names last week,
Yeah.
whenever that was.
And I have a-
So the question is, do we put it out to bid or do we waive that to just see quotes?
Yeah,
I think
Just
I
see
think for a
quotes.
job like that, just seek
Yeah,
quotes.
that's not a.
Yeah, it's not a big enough job to, it's only gonna be a few $1,000s probably.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I know. We don't know.
So do we have to make a motion to waive the bid policy?
I would appreciate it if you did.
Okay. I make a motion to waive the bid policy and to seek quotes for the plumbing aspect of connecting the water line at the transfer station.
Second. Any other discussion?
I almost just said that.
What?
I'm still getting out of habit of like
Sorry.
charity.
You're doing good.
Yeah. Roll call vote. There, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Okay.
So, are you posting that?
Posting it?
No,
No.
Or do you just,
We just,
you just
We just-
individually contact people?
Yeah.
yeah, which
Okay.
Richard's already started, so.
Okay.
yeah, did you ever come up with the name of that
It's
across from?
yes, and I texted to him, but I can't tell you now, even though I just
Pizza
talked
bar.
to the people today.
Yeah, I've seen it and I can't remember the name.
It's like, oh my god, it's something piping.
Yeah, it's
Not federal
No,
piping.
No, it's not federal piping, but it's something piping. It's
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
God, that is gonna drive me nuts. Because
All right, anyway,
All right, let's move it along.
yeah. Are we at, yeah, I think we're at the administrative report.
Okay. The account balance is $3,027,544.
Oh, excuse me.
The office, yeah, busy as always. I did speak with Rick Moreau today, and I asked him if he wanted to come tonight, but I also feel, yeah, he's not here. So he had some things on his agenda this year to do, some projects that are going to be more expensive. So for example, he was going to do some painting at the police station, but once he looked at the project, realized that there's a whole siding portion that needs to be repaired.
Right.
So he didn't budget for that, but he needs to do it in order to paint it. Similarly, this deck out here, he was going to replace a couple steps, but the railings really need to be replaced, and he would rather.
Yeah, he said this to us in his report last time.
Yep,
Yeah.
so he got official quotes for those. It's about $7,000 outside of what he budgeted for.
For both projects?
Yep. So he's wondering if we can use that expendable trust fund for.
To replace the rot
Mm-hmm.
on both?
Yeah.
That's, and so, yeah, I don't know,
Right.
it's definitely not in his budget.
No.
Um,
I think what we could do is what you suggested before, like overspend his line, and then if we end up
Yeah.
Not,
being under budget, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, at the end of the year, we don't need to pull from the
yeah, and I
expendable
think we just make it clear to him that, you know, don't like not do whatever else you were planning on doing because you're worried about your budget. You know, like
yeah,
if we need to use it, we can use it later on in the year. Like, don't cut corners
Right.
somewhere else to try to say, you know, I don't know how better to explain
No,
that.
but that-
yeah, but yeah, we get what you're saying, yeah.
Like, don't not do other projects because you use that budget, you already overused your budget.
Yeah.
If you get low on your budget, we can reimburse that
Right.
money.
Because we made that
Later on in the
mistake
year.
last year by approving spending from the expendable trust
Right.
before the budget got run down,
Right.
and that budget ended up having money left over that we had to roll back in.
Yeah,
So,
so,
yeah, this makes more sense doing it this
Yeah.
way.
Okay.
and if he gets,
We got him covered, he
Tell-
can do the work.
Tell me, go
Right.
for it,
And
yeah.
yeah, this falls under repair and maintenance.
Yeah.
So if we do have to use money from the expendable trust fund, will we designate it as these repairs? Or do you, I mean,
we can do that later on, can't we?
Yeah, we can do it later on.
okay,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just sort of say, well, he went over budget, we're gonna put it in his,
Yeah, you
Well,
can't
that's
just use
the
it to
question.
offset his budget, right? But as long as we keep
seems like it has to be for a specific.
as long as we know the cost of that specific project, we could always kind of reimburse it later on in the year, I think, right?
Yep. Yeah, how we would do it is you'd see that line overspent, right? And then December I'd look and say, oh, his whole budget is going to be overspent. That's the thing is we're a bottom line budget, so
Yeah.
even if his budget is overspent, we're still in good shape. I mean, last year we had almost 600,000 rolling over into the unassigned fund balance. So the likelihood of needing to pull from it is slim, but it's there if you need it. So
Yeah.
Speaking of that, are we done with this?
I
Yeah.
think so. I
Um,
don't need a motion or anything like
Did
that.
the same story then with the fire truck that had that like catastrophic,
Yeah.
and that wasn't in their budget, but did you tell them the same thing?
Yeah, and we actually ended up, when the audit happened last week, they were able to book that to a 2024 expense, so it's all taken care of,
Great,
so yeah.
okay. Yeah, that was rough. Oof.
Yeah,
Glad they weren't coming to my burning house as the
I know.
bottom fell out of the fire truck.
Okay.
Did you see the pictures of it? It was
Yeah,
terrible.
I did.
So you're done with your,
I think that's all I got. Do you guys have any questions for
what
me?
the hell have you been doing?
I know.
Just kidding.
I don't want to know. This.
That means select board update.
Look at us go.
I think we should start at that end from now on.
Yeah, good point.
Shake it up a little.
I
Then
don't,
I'll let Steve go first with TSIC updates before Richard.
yeah, right, definitely.
Richard had it for 3 years.
I pretty much gave my update with the traffic thing.
Are you passing it to me then?
Yeah.
Interesting, at the LRPC meeting last night.
Oh yeah, I went to that too.
Yep. one of the initiatives that they're talking about is that, is it from Florida that they said? There's a boat plastic recycling project that they're looking at, using a model, I think from Florida. There's some other place that have a bazillion boats. And they're looking at it in the Lakes region. And so there's a conversation about it. I think they said at the Molten Borough Library on June 12th at 5 p.m. I'll find out more. But when you think about how many boats you see,
All those pontoon
all
boats.
covered with that plastic every season, so it's just a huge amount of plastic that just goes into
I never
landfills.
thought about that.
Yeah, I
So
do.
they're-
They do it every year.
Every year.
And it goes in the landfill.
So it's LRPC sponsoring this conversation as one of their initiatives to decrease what's going in the landfill that we're having to pay to ship.
So, what is their thought? Do they have?
I don't know what the,
They're just
I don't know
looking
the
into a recycling,
There's some recycling
possibility.
model
yeah.
that they're gonna see if they can implement up here that they're using already in other places.
And when you think about all around these lakes, I mean, Swan Lake, Winnipesaukee.
Look at all the Good Hughes, how many different boat storage places they have.
Yeah.
Crazy, yeah.
A lot of
Yeah,
plastic.
I never thought about that. There's probably thousands of boats around.
And that's
Oh.
heavy duty, that's like a heavy mill plastic, so. Anyway, so that's June
Yeah.
12th if people wanna go. We're also going to post, Emily's gonna post for us that we need an alternate for Lakes Region Planning Commission. And what that means is, it's pretty light duty and it's pretty interesting. It's like 6 commissioner meetings a year, March, April, May, and then September, October, November. They're in different, each meeting's in a different town in the Lakes Region District from 6 to 8, once a month. And they're on a different topic each time. So last night was the transportation engineer talking about how to get on the 10-year plan for DOT, what funding's available for the transportation alternative projects like sidewalks and bike paths. So they're interesting there, and then you bring the info back to your community. And then the 7th meeting is the annual meeting in June every year, which is super nice, chance to have a good meal, listen to a keynote speaker, people get awards. So an alternate should commit to going to those meetings. Right now, Richard Doucette and I are the 2 commissioners from Tamworth, and if one of us can't make it, it's always nice to have 2 people there. So if anybody's interested in being an alternate, just reach out to Emily. And if you want more information, you can reach out to me. I can fill you in what it's like. It was also mentioned last night, if you go to the New Hampshire Municipal Association website, down to the bill tracker tab that says Fast Democracy, do you follow this, Ed? No? You can follow bills in process in the legislature in New Hampshire in real time. So you can see what bills are being presented, who presents them, and the changes.
Like last night, certain ones that passed, they've been approved by the
Senate
House,
and then
or the Senate, and they were being passed on.
So it's really interesting to see what may or may not impact us, and like what seems like a good idea for a big municipality, like the trickle down of how that would impact us in Tamworth. Like there was one, and I'm not going to remember all the details, so don't commit me to it, but like right now, if you go through the subdivision process, we have 30 days to like stamp and file with the county your, new your plans and everything, right? And this like trickles it back to 3 days.
3 days.
And it's for municipalities too. They had one that if for towns that have zoning and have building inspection, it's saying again like 3 to 5 days from 30 days to accept and process and clear a building application. And if you don't, it's like it just automatically. If you don't get it done in your 3-day timeline, it's automatically approved. So things like that are in the books right now, which are interesting because I think about that 30 days to 3 days when we have a volunteer planning board, like what that means for, we probably have to hire somebody to pay them to make sure that everything met those deadlines. And we'd probably have to change our meetings, so all this volunteer stuff is gonna get really strained. So it's interesting to look at those, and a lot of them they'll never see the light of day. But again, interesting to see how people think in terms of solving
A
problems
lot
with
of those,
legislature.
a lot of those were trying to make it, address the housing shortage.
Yeah.
I think that was the
Trying to speed along.
mindset, the mindset
Yeah.
for
Like a
the,
nice happy medium, like
Yeah.
10 days.
yeah, right, I know.
Or like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
A month is kind of like, I can kind of see like both sides of that, because like there's some frustration like in
Waiting.
certain towns with building permits and stuff like that,
Yeah.
waiting,
Yeah.
and even with like state inspections and stuff, like
Yeah.
you're,
hurry up and
there's
wait.
some frustration of, you know, because
Yeah.
you want to move on, but 3 days, as far as the municipality side of things, like that would be really tough,
Yeah.
like 3 or 5 days, for certain things.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's kind of a cool tool to look at, really easy access. And then the last thing is just a reminder that we, 2 meetings ago, we reapproved the part of the personnel policy that had gotten pulled out around creating a sick bank. And so Emily has the original language, which is what we approved to put back. She's got the original form. So the way that we have to, whenever you make a change to the policy, to the personnel policy, the copy of the changed language, or the additional language in this case, every employee has to get a copy of it with a letter that they sign acknowledging that they've seen it. And so she's gonna start that process. And then because the part of the policy says that the sick bank, you can donate into the sick bank either at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. Because this is kind of the beginning, because this is when the policy starts, we're gonna, and we talked about this at the meeting, we're gonna let people, if they want to donate, they can donate now, or they can wait to the end of the year, or not donate at all. But that will put some days in the sick bank in case anyone needs to access it this year. So that's great, that's in the works.
Okay.
My turn?
Your turn.
Do we have any thoughts on potentially when we might go back to
Oh,
6 p.m.?
we talked about that when you weren't here, we were saying, oh, we thought we said we changed it with the clocks.
Yeah, we thought.
Oh, okay, I don't remember what I was.
But we
you know,
didn't, we didn't
Then we
change it yet, but we.
anytime, you know,
Yeah.
unless there's some strong
No.
No,
opposition
let's-
to that,
No,
if I could have an extra hour in my day,
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
do you wanna start the next meeting?
yeah, it's okay with me.
If that's okay with everybody, I'm
Yeah.
happy with that.
So the 22nd, go back to 6 o'clock?
Okay, starting 22nd.
Yeah. I do think we said something about when the clocks, just to remember, we would do it
Yeah,
when
we
the
did.
clocks changed, and then we spaced it, so.
Well, I know that they changed the clocks earlier this year or something.
Wait, what?
There will only be 2, I mean, we can talk about this later as we get closer, because I don't expect you to remember, but in July and August, there'll be 2 conflicting meeting dates with CIP here at 6 o'clock, so we might have to just offset those weeks, just to
Oh,
give you a
Tuesday.
heads up. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, don't care.
Don't care.
As long as I know up ahead of time, I don't mind.
Okay.
See for future events. All right, it's official. Emery.
And so we're every other week still right now, so we're not meeting next week.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, and we don't have to go back to every week until budget season again, right?
It's up to you guys.
Right? Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Great.
as long as we don't have any like 4-hour meetings, I'm good.
No, they've been
If
pretty
we can
good
keep them
lately.
to like
They've been pretty
minus
quick,
2
right?
hours, that'd be nice.
yeah, that one last night was too long.
Yeah,
2 hours.
okay.
Other than that, sorry I couldn't make it last week. I was playing Mr. Mom.
I know. Did,
You could hear.
Yeah, I survived. That's what everyone.
That's what I wanted to know. I'm just telling Richard and Steve that we're going to.
All good. That's it for me.
Okay. Again, chance for public input. All right. We will go on to the signature file. I make a motion to approve the select board meeting minutes as amended, March 18th, 2025.
I think you need to first make a motion to amend them.
Oh,
Yeah. Just see my.
oh, they weren't, we didn't amend them.
Right.
Okay,
No, the two red are the,
okay, now I see your notes, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. I just had a mistake that
I rescind my motion.
Okay.
I make a motion to amend the March 18th meeting minutes to reflect that Leanne Prentice recused herself from the Bear Camp Center pilot agreement vote.
So someone needs to second that.
I need a second on that.
second,
Roll call vote. Bear, yes. You can,
I guess I can vote on that.
yeah, I think you can.
Yes, Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Yeah, you just want to make it clear that she did not vote on it, she sat over there.
Yeah.
Okay, now I make a motion to approve the March 18th Select Board meeting minutes as amended.
Second,
Roll call vote. Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
All right. And I make a motion to approve the Select Board public and non-public meeting minutes of March 25th, 2025.
Second,
Roll call vote. Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
And I make a motion to approve the Select Board meeting minutes from April 1st, 2025.
Second,
Roll call vote. Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the gravel tax levy on map 218, lot 98 for $238.40.
Second,
Roll call vote. Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I make a motion to approve the timber tax levy for map 204, lot 1 for $1,127.25.
Second,
Roll call vote. Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the intent to excavate for map 413, lot 14, access road Route 113, and for map 413, did I say 14 or was that?
Yeah, you said it right.
Yeah, lot 14, access road Pine Grounds Road.
Second,
Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the intent to cut for map 408, lot 53, sublot 1, access road High Street.
Second, where's High Street?
That is right on the border of Madison and Tamworth. It's off Washington Hill Road.
Oh,
Goes
Most of it is in Madison.
Washington Hill.
off to the right.
Yeah, off Washington Hill.
Yeah.
If you
Depends
kind
which way you're
Is it
going.
down the hill.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know where it is.
Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I move to approve the application for a raffle by the Bear Camp Valley Sportsman's Club.
Second,
Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I make a motion to approve the payroll in the amount of $51,633.45.
Second,
Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the accounts payable, the amount of $378,494.06.
Second,
$19,000 for the ambulance contract payment, $58,000 for the library payment, and $276,000 for the school payment. Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
And then just, there was a few additions that I
Oh,
made at the
thank you.
very last minute tonight.
Make a motion to approve land use change tax for map 410, lot 118 for $1,000.
Second,
Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the abatements for map 415, lot 90, sublot 9 for $671. Map 410, lot 162 for $871.57. Map 415, lot 67, sublot 7 for $156.
Second,
Bear, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to deny the abatement application for map 407, lot 84. They, oh, do you want a second? And then I'll.
Second. Yeah.
They were late with their application,
Oh, okay,
just didn't get it in.
okay.
Barry, yes.
That's yes.
Roberts, yes?
So when can they reapply?
After the tax bill goes out in
July.
2025, yeah, so it's an abatement for 2024, but.
Got it.
All right, motion to adjourn.
That's it.
I think being on the select board, we should get nice pens like this, right with that. It feels like gloriousness. Took it from
Yeah, I
my
think
favorite planet last
I
night.
think I've had one like that. I do like it.
Did you say gloriousness?
That's a new word.
It's just like, it's like writing with butter, it's so
What was the
nice.
access road on that excavation?
High Street, is that the one you're?
No, the
one right before
excavation.
that. You said.
Oh,
13?
Pine Ground.
Pine
Road?
ground,
Pine Ground,
Pine ground, thank you.
so is
Where
that
is
Hank,
that?
yeah.
Hank Latards?
From Hank Latards down
Down
to.
to
Pine Ground Road?
Yeah,
I thought it was Pine Hill.
Well, it's,
well, depends on how old you are.
yeah,
Well, is it Pine Hill now?
it's both. It's Pine Hill, it's
I think
Pine Hill now,
I think the sign at the end might say Pine Hill.
but the old name was Pine Ground.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, 6:20.